You can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a 6-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Thank you, Mike Horn, and welcome to the Royal Oakes Show. Mike Horn, who never lies, guys. When he says, I'm the favorite legal analyst in the nation, well, I wouldn't have.
It is written in stone.
But Mike Horn, you know, he never lies.
The voice of God.
Mm-hmm. So Ken Jeffries, our co-host, how are you today?
Good. It's busy. All of a sudden, a busy news day as we're doing the show. And
we're going to get some breaking news.
Wow.
Exactly right. And our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes. How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very well.
So, guys, this is a breaking news day. We're going to be talking about a new development on the Russia front. Apparently, Adam Schiff has released a brand new letter, sort of the Democrats' answer. But, of course, we got some huge news stories. The school shooting story continues, and the twist is, the way the story is advanced, I'm wondering if Miss Grundy should be packing heat. Now, Connor, you may not know the reference to Miss Grundy, although we had a bunch of Archie comics in the garage when we were growing up.
I know Miss Grundy, absolutely.
Okay, so, and Ken Jeffries, I'm sure.
She was Archie's teacher.
Archie's teacher. And Mr. Weatherby was the principal. And
Jughead was the best friend, and Reggie was the rich guy. And,
you know the whole cast, so the question is...
I was Jughead, actually.
Should these folks... you weren't Moose?
No.
You know, he was the big athlete.
No, I was in the Knights of Pythias. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I wasn't an elk.
So should these folks be packing heat is the question, and we're going to get into that because I think it's a pretty intriguing topic. And the other angle there is, will the kids protest, the survivors of the shooting, bring down the NRA? Is this finally going to break the back of the NRA? We also are going to talk about Billy Graham. Bye, Billy Graham. I felt bad because you may remember a few weeks on this program ago, Ken Jeffries, I expressed the opinion that maybe Billy Graham had died, and you corrected me.
Well, now you are correct.
Now it's a little late. Okay, I can't be correct retroactively.
This just in, he remains dead. It's like
so we're going to
Generalissimo Francisco Franco.
That's right, the old SNL
As
guy.
Billy Graham himself said, when they tell you I died, don't believe them. I just changed addresses.
That's a good one. I like that, yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about Billy Graham, and we're going to talk in our lightning round about Coddling the Homeless Part 2.
Oh, God, it's back.
John Phillips of KBC kicked us off a week or two ago with an intriguing op-ed he wrote about whether or not we really ought to be paying more attention to the victims of homeless, and that generated a little heat in response from our listeners.
A little bit. Kind of like saying, should we be paying more attention to the victims of, cancer itself?
Wait till you hear about John's second column about the homeless. We're going to get into that. We're going to have our Moron of the Month candidate. I'll give you just a quick tease. It's One Cranky Granny is this Moron of the Month candidate. And our Hot Tub Time Machine. It's really going to be an intriguing soundbite from history. And the tease there, I'll just tell you, if it weren't for this soundbite, Connor, you wouldn't be here. Okay?
Oh, God. Please don't delve into the conception.
You wouldn't be here but for this sound bite.
God.
It's your mother.
Something like that.
That's the best possible solution. What else could it be that I'm not going to be disgusted by?
So when we come back, I want to get into the breaking news and also the school shooting issue, and I want to look through the lens of some important values in terms of security and justice and compassion and also freedom. So we're going to look at the school shooting topic in that way, and also Ken Jeffries is going to bring us up to date on some breaking news here on the Royal Oakes Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oakes Show. You're experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain from a sports injury. If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic Tea, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Shep's developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Shep's has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Shep's at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com. 310-873-4422.
Come and move that in my direction. So thankful for that, such a blessing.
Welcome back to the Royal
Turn
Oak
every
Show.
situation into heaven,
This is Ken Jeffries, such an expert when it comes to music, having been a professional disc jockey in a former life, and because Connor
Not for this song.
knows a little bit about the current music.
A little bit.
Yeah. So
As a
let's see.
millennial, this song courses through my very veins.
So you might be able to guess the singer and the name of the song?
I would say that
perhaps?
it's Despacito.
Very good.
And that it's by... Gosh.
Wait, the artist is Despacito?
No, Despacito is the name of the
Give
song.
you a hint. Give
No,
you a
right,
hint. This
that's what I'm
artist
saying.
has lots of tattoos
Yeah, it's Loop.
in his 20s.
Oh,
A bad boy.
he is a bad boy. Man.
Oh, I
He
know.
throws
Is
eggs
it-
on his neighbor's
Yeah,
home.
yeah. Justin.
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber's the one
Connor-
who does the English part, but he's
Yeah.
not the important artist in the song. The important artist is the guy who's speaking Spanish right now. Gosh, what's his name?
You got the important part.
Was it Julio
The important part is
Iglesias or,
Despacito. That was the name of it.
that's
One of the
I
top
got
songs
to
in the world.
learn the word Despacito, which means slowly, as in dance with me slowly, right? In this
Okay.
song. And then in an interview with a client where we were describing a Spanish language interview, describing a car accident, she described herself as driving Despacito, and I could tell what she was saying, and I said, oh yeah, no, you don't need to translate that word, translator. I got this one on lock.
Excellent.
Wow. You're hip. You're the hip
oh,
guy.
with it.
So speaking of being with it, guys, so we got some breaking news. Apparently, a few weeks ago, the Congressman Nunez Republican letter was released showing that there was alleged bias in terms of the Russian investigation. The FISA surveillance warrant was tainted, and now the Democrats said, well, we got our take on it. President Trump said, no, that's got too much classified stuff in it. As I understand it, Ken Jeffries, the Democrat letter is out now.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read the first graph of the story from the Associated Press real quick. After weeks, and pardon me, on TV, it looks like I'm reading, because I am.
There you go.
After weeks of discussions with the Justice Department, Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee have released Saturday, as if we taped the show, a classified memo that counters GOP allegations that the FBI abused U.S. government surveillance powers in its investigation into Russian election interference.
Right. I mean, I understand the gist of this, the important part of this memo that was unredacted. Now, there are a bunch of redactions throughout this memo that the White House and the DOJ insisted were placed on the memo. So it looks incomplete. But the part that we can read says, GOP memo, you claim that the FISA court's authorization for surveillance of Carter Page, a Trump associate, was tainted because it was based on this spurious Steele memo, the P memo, I guess you could say, that document is uncorroborated and that it itself is wrought with bias and clearly, politically motivated because we think this Steele guy hates Trump for some reason. And so because you based it on that memo, therefore the FISA court itself is corrupt and being misused. And the Democratic memo comes right out and says, actually, the opposite is true. Who knows which one's correct so far? This came out this hour, so it's not like
It came out about an hour ago as we were doing the show.
But the Democrats are saying, no, the FISA court properly authorized the surveillance of Carter Page way before the Steele dossier entered the picture. So that would undermine the GOP's case about corruption, if it's true. If it is true what the Democrats are saying.
And we're seeing tweets from Professor Lawrence Tribe of Harvard Law School, basically endorsing the idea you expressed. So, all right, so this is going to develop this week, but at least we're on top of the breaking news right now.
There we go.
So let's get to the story about guns. My problem is so much of the reaction to the gun deal is knee-jerk. It's a result of hate and extremism. You have haters on the NRA side. Any gun is good. We don't want any restrictions, like that ridiculous statistic. 89% of Americans feel mentally disturbed people should not be allowed to buy guns. 11% think they should. The fact of the matter is, the only people who commit these mass shootings are mentally disturbed young males, okay? So the key is you got to get the guns out of their hands. Some people say the key is, no, we got to ban assault weapons and so on. But the problem is, I think what we need is some critical thinking about what is the proper solution, as opposed to gun lovers saying, oh no, you've got to have few, if any, restrictions on guns, and gun haters saying, oh no, guns are totally the problem, get rid of guns. I mean, there are 24 states in America, I was surprised to learn from the newspapers this week, where already we got guns in the hands of custodians, security guards at schools.
Yeah,
Schools have
Texas, they have that
armed
already?
guards,
Do they have that already in Texas?
Yeah.
And,
So wouldn't a critical thinking approach to this be analyzing situations, well, has this been effective? Because everybody's, you turn on CNN and they all just, hee-haw laughing at the idea of, giving the custodian an Uzi. I heard him refer to, are you going to give a counselor a bazooka? Give me a break. I mean, if their kid were sitting in geography class and the shooter comes in, I think they would wish that the custodian had a bazooka. But maybe it's a bad public policy idea. But the point is, you got to analyze it based on what works as opposed to what you hate, because that's not critical thinking.
Yeah. I interviewed a teacher. I was at Daniel Pearl journalism magnet this week. I volunteer over there and help the kids with their media stuff. And I did a story that, in fact, I did one that ran on KABC also. It's just the teacher's own viewpoint that he would not like to see. He's a good shot, and he used guns in the past. But he would not want to see one in his classroom. He would be afraid a student could jump him and then use the gun and against him and the rest of the class.
Yeah, I mean that's one of
and
many
besides,
concerns.
You got the job, and I've seen stuff on Facebook and so on. The job of a teacher is to teach, not to shoot.
Yeah, it does
So what do you do with
expand
that?
the core competency of teacher from educator to physical protector, put one's life on the line, and be willing to take a life. It's a lot to ask anybody to upgrade their job description from not just doctor, lawyer, teacher, firefighter, but here's a gun. When the time comes, you've got to point it at a person and pull the trigger. And to do that is basically to deputize that person as a member of the, in one way or another, police force that we accept in our society as having a bite of the pie on the legitimate use of violence that the state has. The state is the only actor that is allowed to legitimately use violence to police the society. That's the social contract we all believe in. And to add somebody new to that mix is a huge step. It's a change in kind and not just a difference in degree to say to a teacher that your job is now to kill a kid if that kid is dangerous in your estimation.
If the kid has an AR-15, which is it's not an assault weapon, by the way.
Right.
But are you gonna face off against that kid if you have a pistol?
Yeah, I mean that's
I don't think so,
issue.
unless you're carrying something like the
That's
kid's
where
carrying
it gets into the question of
crazy.
what's the track record. I mean, these are legitimate concerns and questions people are raising about teachers and guns and so on. So what is the track record of the 24 states, and I don't know the answer, where some teachers, some security folks on campus have had guns? Yeah, I don't like the idea of a gun going off by accident or some wacky kid taking it. And let's face it, it's just a 1 in a trillion chance that some maniac is going to show up with a semi-automatic pistol or rifle at a school. But it does happen.
Maybe not, and now I'm not saying it's happening more, but all of a sudden we've heard the last few days in the Los Angeles area these threats that the police are investigating. Doesn't mean the threats are going to come true.
Unfortunately.
What does that mean?
How did you feel about that deputy who didn't go in?
Yeah.
It's his job, and he's armed. I swung back and forth between thinking, my God, he's a coward, and the blood of all these kids is on his hands. And also thinking, well, does he have any kind of explanation? I mean, the epaulets have been stripped off. The whole world thinks he's a despicable coward. Is there any justification? I don't know that we're going to get it.
President called him a coward, right?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, I think that.
Who hasn't Trump called a coward on Twitter?
That was the consensus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, it's Bye-Bye Billy Graham. We're going to talk about the role of the evangelist. Stay with us.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Hi, friends. This is Larry Manetti. Go to LarryManetti.com to get my book, Aloha Magnum. You'll read all about the wonderful guest stars like Carol Burnett, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and many, many more. There is an episode guide and my favorite recipes that I really cook at home. I will include a free signed photo with every book. Get Aloha Magnum at LarryManetti.com. Order now. Aloha.
When you really want Italian food for that special someone on your special day, you have got to get to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's is that deliciously welcoming bistro that makes every visit something special. It's an easy refuge from everyday insanity. It's fun, it's relaxing, and it's affordable. The service is excellent but not fawning. The food, the delicious steaks, the freshest fish, Columbo's family Italian specialties. Meatballs to die for with jazz every night makes every visit something special. Columbo's, that's someplace special for that someone special. Columbo's, that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's, Mangia.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
Destination South Point. 11 great restaurants, bingo, bowling, movies, race books, sports books, spa, live entertainment, oversized rooms, and the rates unbeatable. The South Point Las Vegas. Book now. Online at southpointcasino.com or call 866-791-7626. southpointcasino.com or call 866-791-7626. At the South Point Las Vegas, you're always a winner.
Not forsake me, oh my darling.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. We like to stay current with our bumper music.
Well, it's not Justin Bieber.
No, it ain't Justin Bieber, but it is from my favorite movie of all time.
Is this Ba-rum-pa-pum-pum, Little Drummer Boy?
No, it's not Little Drummer Boy.
It kind of sounds like Little Drummer Boy.
You think my favorite movie of all time has something to do with a Little Drummer Boy?
It sounds like Mr. Grinch.
I know your favorite movie of all time, so that's a good hint for us because it's High Noon.
Yeah.
The famous cowboy movie. He's the man stands alone. Nobody else will stand with the bad guys. He's the only one.
Gregory Peck singing?
Gregory Peck.
Who's singing this, though?
Tex Ritter is the singer. Gary Cooper was the star. Do Not Forsake Me is the song.
Okay.
And as I say, I just like to be current. 1952.
1952,
all over again.
That about covers it.
And by the way, I want to step in and correct the record. Louis Fonsi is the actual artist.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. All right, before we get to Billy Graham, 99 years old, an amazing, amazing life. Let's finish up on the school shooting thing, because during the break we were talking about something. Let me get this straight. There are people on the internet that are worried that if we arm custodians, teachers, school security people, they're going to start killing young black men?
Yeah.
They're going to exercise their Second Amendment right to shoot guns in a racist way? Are we really seriously worried about that?
Yeah, the fear is you put more guns in the hands of more people around black teenagers. Well, since America is pretty racist and people are pretty racist towards black teenagers, and guess what? Teenagers misbehave constantly in school. They're more likely to get shot.
Again,
so you're going to be,
as I admitted in our last segment, I don't got the statistics, but I'd sure be interested in knowing in the 24 states around the United States where we've got guns on campus, do we see a racist pattern of shootings?
Laboratories of democracy, states, so beautiful.
I apologize for breaking in
Not
here,
at
but breaking news.
Breaking news.
No, don't teachers stand to be sued by the? I mean, if they shoot and kill, I mean, the fear of being sued would be a big problem too, I would think. And the other thing was real quick In the GOP tax
Well, they're
plan,
sued now if you beat up a kid, if you assault a kid,
and
if
you
you
shoot and
unduly
kill a
discipline
kid. I
them.
mean, is that a
That's an even bigger
The
suit.
fear, of course,
You're
yeah,
right.
hopefully that would keep them in line. The real fear is that people are worse at judging the threat of a person of another race because we're racist and our society is
But
that
the
way.
thing
and so
is,
we're
Connor,
afraid
if
of
you're in school
Yeah.
and a shooter shows up, I want your teacher armed because I want you to survive. And you're more likely to survive
appreciate that.
if your history teacher is packing. Now, the problem is the knee-jerk reaction is the left says, guns are not the solution. Guns are the problem, okay?
Yeah.
And the right says, oh, no, you're wrong. People don't shoot people. Guns, it's the people who are bad, not the guns who are bad.
Right.
The fact is 99% of all mass shooters are male.
Yeah.
How is that, by the way? I mean, Gloria Steinem says there's no difference between men and women. Yeah, there are.
Well, there
There's
are.
a difference,
Sure
Gloria.
there are,
We're the bad guys. We shoot people. Okay, so that's an
Yeah.
undeniable statistic. And virtually all of them, I think, 65 to 70% of all mass shooters are mentally disturbed.
Yeah.
So we know who the bad guys are. They're guys, and they're mentally disturbed. So making sure that nobody who has any kind of mental health issue or domestic abuse, protective order issued against them, those people currently can buy guns.
Yeah.
What in the world
I mean,
are
that's
we
gotta,
thinking of?
Absolutely, it's got to be step zero.
If you're
Farrow, who
nuts
shot
or
up
you're
the-
violent or you're a criminal, make sure you never touch a gun,
So-
and that's a big part of the solution.
Dana Loesch, PR head for the NRA, is speaking at CPAC recently. I'm loath to say her name; that she doesn't need the publicity from us, though. But she was speaking. She said on stage, "Crazy." Use the word crazy. Crazy people shouldn't have guns. And somebody in the audience, a lot of people reacted loudly, calling, "Oh, they're unhappy when she says that." And one
Does
person,
that mean you don't have one, Dana?
one person specifically shouted, "Don't call me crazy," which really encapsulates what the point is, that they're afraid of government. They're afraid of authority figures. That's why they have guns. They're saying the Second Amendment is there to keep you, Obama, from coming into my house and taking my guns away and making me your,
Obama,
you know,
do Obama,
that
yeah.
makes
Obama.
that makes
Obama's
no
still
sense.
president, by the
That
way.
makes
Obama's still president in their heads. So, like, they're afraid of being called crazy, and that is part of it. Like the idea that someone would be classified as deranged or something. A lot of liberals would say it's deranged inherently to own 10 guns. And guess what?
okay.
These people, they all own 10 guns.
I know you want to move on, but just one more thing real fast. And
We have plenty of time for Billy Graham.
Yeah, so
not going anywhere.
I think he just called and said he wants to get on now. No, but what happened is that with the GOP tax plan, they take away deductions for teachers, for supplies, school supplies.
Wow.
Would that include Kevlar, bullets? Seriously.
No, really,
handguns,
yeah.
Training?
Yeah, exactly.
Who is going to pay for
Trump
this?
says we'll give a bonus to the percentage of
it's gonna
of
be
people
expensive, yeah.
who carry guns. We refuse to give teachers pencils. These people are going and buying their own like classroom supplies. The idea that we would just bump up a bonus in order so that they could pack heat is so crazy to me. There is no money to fund public schools. And we could get so much more good out of that by putting it into something real and unnecessary, like packing heat, when this problem is solvable in other ways.
Can I one more thing I want to throw in before we break, and what it is the NRA for whatever. I'm just going to throw it out there. Some companies have announced they're pulling out of relationship with the NRA.
Boycotting them.
Now, does this mean anything? Who can tell?
I think there's real pressure. Absolutely.
It's going to be huge. When we come back, Billy Graham, he used to say, Billy Graham, Minneapolis, Minnesota, that's all the address you need. Now,
Not
just
anymore.
write him in heaven. That's all the address you need. Stay with us on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Hey, Lorraine, do you realize that your mother, my mother-in-law, Chef Maria, has been serving Las Vegas since 1949?
Yes, I do, Dennis. That's when she first met Howard Hughes, who fell in love with her cooking.
And in 1955, she opened her first restaurant on Fremont Street.
Yes, dear. And another great customer was Liberace.
Wow. Then in 1962, while Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack were causing global excitement on the Las Vegas Strip, your family opened their second restaurant.
And in 1972, Elvis Presley began electrifying Las Vegas audiences and eating in our restaurant.
You know, Lorraine, this is quite a town. There's only one Las Vegas.
And there's only one Bootlegger Italian Bistro.
Folks, when you're in Las Vegas, come visit us. We'll make you feel like you're part of our family.
The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, conveniently located at 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard, South Strip. Visit our website at www.bootleggerlasvegas.com.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
Kanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
Aloha! Experience your home away from home being beachfront at the Kanapali Beach Hotel. Begin your getaway relaxing on over 11 acres of tropical Hawaiian gardens at Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel, voted Best Aloha Spirit by Hawaii Magazine readers. Just walking around the grounds with all the tropical vegetation, relaxing poolside, or kicking back in the sun on the world-renowned Kanapali Beach makes you feel like you're home in paradise. There's a package to fit all your needs: wedding, honeymoon, activities, private parties, great food, or just good old beach fun. The hotel perpetuates the Hawaiian tradition at its best. Call 661-0011 or visit kbhmaui.com.
Kanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. We've resolved the gun issue.
Yeah, I've solved it.
Yeah, took care of that, boy.
It's way safer now.
Gonna move on to Billy
way
Graham.
safer now that we've mounted bazookas on every moving vehicle, and Tesla's software just targets people that look scary. It's like, why didn't we think of this earlier?
I know. So I think this group was a big favorite of Billy Graham's. I'm not sure about that. Can anybody guess who this is? And what the song
Ken,
is?
please tell me this is in your wheelhouse. It's got to be. This is your jam. I feel you rocking out over here.
It's Mick and the Boys.
There you go.
Hey.
Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones are right here on our show.
And do you know what the name of the
remember
song
who's
is?
that? Ed Sullivan, right?
Absolutely.
I'm telling you now because a lot of people don't remember Ed Sullivan.
Do you know the name of this song? It's pretty high profile.
Start Me Up.
Start Me Up. Very good.
Start me up.
So Billy Graham.
And they could use starting up now. What are they, 77 years old on average?
It's amazing. Well, they've taken care of themselves. Selves. So they called him the Protestant Pope, Billy Graham.
Yeah.
He was the most influential preacher of the 20th century. He started out as a street preacher, actually, in Tampa, Florida. He became famous in 1949 thanks to William Randolph Hearst. Mm-hmm. He was doing a big tent revival. You probably saw the pictures of it in the obituaries this week for Billy Graham. And William Randolph Hearst was really impressed with his charisma, and he was into the radio, evangelism, and he sent a 2-word message to his hundreds and hundreds of newspapers around the world, Puff Graham. And Billy Graham became famous because of William Randolph Hearst doing that. And, of course, then he was a confidant to presidents. I think every president from Truman through Obama met with him. Little embarrassment. Some of the Nixon Watergate tapes.
A slight embarrassment.
Yeah,
I remember
slight
that very
embarrassment.
well. Yeah,
Actually, I'd never heard that. What was he on?
Nixon was doing his usual anti-Semitic comments, and Billy Graham, instead of disagreeing and saying, that was pretty crappy, Mr. President, sort of went along with
nice,
it.
Mr.
It was
Nice.
apparently it wasn't despicable. I don't remember the exact word.
I can't remember
but it was
either,
not respectable.
I remember that too, and it was part of the Watergate tapes.
He didn't call him out.
So he was one of a series of 20th century preachers. Billy Sunday was very famous in the 1920s, charismatic, Bible-thumping, old-time orators. And they're gone now. And I'm wondering what you guys think. Do you think they're gone because we've moved to this cool medium of television and the energy of Billy Graham? It seems a little archaic now. Or is it because we're just becoming a more secular society? Because statistics say every single decade the percentage of Americans who believe in a divine force and who attend church regularly goes down, down, down. I mean, is that a reason that we're not going to see any more Billy Grahams?
I think that the firebrand nature of that category of person and preacher, I think that was very attractive at a certain point, and now it is actually unattractive. I think that a lot of people, like I am, look at sort of things that people who are this passionate about what they believe and how this outspoken, they look at and listen to and read what these people say, and they say, yeah, I get that you're passionate, and that's I see the value in being that passionate. But when you write an op-ed or write basically an answer column that says, oh yeah, your atheist friend, they're a good person despite their atheism. Mm-hmm. It can't be part of their core identity, because the only thing that can make you a good person is to be a Christian and a fierce supporter Christian. And by the way, send me money in the mail. That sort of thing really turns my generation off. I mean, the money is such a it so taints their message nowadays with millennials and younger, the idea that somebody would be preaching religion and asking for donations at the same time, saying God wants you to send
Jesus
me money.
will make you rich.
It turns people off so much.
You're right. If you don't mind me saying, I want to throw two words out there. Joel Osteen. And Joel Osteen, if I pronounce his name right.
Yeah, Joel's
and they just changed. I mean, he's not.
Now he's a charlatan preacher who's in jail for something.
I'm not going to say he's a charlatan. I don't know if he's a charlatan.
I thought he got into trouble with the law.
I don't know. Yeah, some tax issues, but of course, because churches are tax exempt.
But he's not a fire and brimstone. I don't think he's a fire and. I watch some of these guys on TV, and I watch it. I try to watch it critically, in that I want to see what these guys do. I'd like to go on television and
Ernest Angley,
give me their money, and all of that. Seriously, and what is it about guys like Joel Osteen who promote stuff like this? Mm-hmm. Obviously, make their followers feel good. They give money to him, and they think they're going to get goodness and stuff in exchange. And
well, Billy Graham, I think, by and large, escaped the taint. You look at guys like Jimmy Swaggart. I mean, he had the emotion and the fire and brimstone, and then he had the big fall. There were the women, there was the liquor, and the porno. Yeah. And you look at guys like Pat Robertson, who just goes completely over the top in terms of politics.
Right.
Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. I mean, you do have con men. You do have people who...
He's still on the air, Jim Baker,
Oh, is he back?
He is selling Armageddon food.
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
God.
Stuff to when you think I'm not kidding. Tammy Faye passed away a couple of years ago, but Jim is still on the air.
I understand
Armageddon food.
Why do his listeners need Armageddon food? They're gonna get raptured. It's us. We need Armageddon food. We're getting left behind.
My favorite was the Reverend Ernest Angley. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah.
With I'm sorry, folks, bad toupee. Mm-hmm. But he would hold his hand up against the camera lens,
right?
And he wanted you to put your hand up against the TV screen.
Oh,
and would go heel, and that's. To me, it's fascinating to watch these guys.
Are there any fiery rabbis like that you send money to?
Well, I'll tell you, there is a guy who he's on TBN, the Trinity Broadcasting Network.
Right.
As general as a Jew, I say, Jews do not believe in proselytizing.
Right.
Now,
boring.
There is a show on TBN called the Jewish Jesus, and they have a gentleman who says he's a rabbi.
So just
and
Jesus.
And he wears a tallis, a prayer shawl, and all of that, and talks about how you can be, in my opinion, you can be Jewish and believe in Jesus at the same time. And
Jews
how do you do?
Jesus.
I'm thinking, how do you do that? It's like this plate spinner on the Ed Sullivan Show, another Ed Sullivan reference. How do you do that?
Right. Confusing.
Anyway. You are obsessed with the show, Ken.
Yeah, but it was
a great show to be obsessed with.
He watches it every night.
Okay, so let's switch gears from Billy Graham to the homeless. So John Phillips, our eternal inspiration, a colleague at KBC, has written some really interesting, good columns for the daily news. And he wrote one a few weeks ago about the homeless, saying, hey, how about a little compassion for the victims, the people who are harassed and intimidated and assaulted by the homeless. So he wrote another column a couple of days ago, and he said he got a lot of feedback. And one lady wrote, much of what Mr. Phillips bitched about is true, but he doesn't give any help or solutions. So now John Phillips writes another column with some solutions. First, repeal California's disastrous early prison release initiatives. Because remember, we're letting people out early, even though they were convicted and they were told by the judge, you should spend 3 years in prison. We let them out early because we're broke, because we spend so much money on a lot of crap, in my opinion. Other people may say, no, we spend it on really good stuff. But the fact is, the reason we let these guys out early is because we are broke. And John Phillips is saying, get rid of that. He says 28% of the region's Orange County homeless were released from prison within the last 12 months. That's hundreds of convicted criminals living on the streets instead of behind bars, where at least they had a bed, meals, medical care, and didn't pose a danger to the public. These criminals were sentenced to prison by a judge and jury, and that's where they belong. So that's solution one from John Phillips. So what say you, esteemed panel? You on John Phillips' side here?
No, I think he's shocker. I think he's misunderstanding the problem. The problem is that people come out of prison and immediately end up on the street again committing crimes because we have no post-prison support network that serves these people's needs. Now, we have some post-prison support, but obviously, if they're ending up living on the sidewalk, it's not working.
Billy Graham was a street preacher. Why don't they become street preachers if they're going to be on the street?
That's a very good point. Sure.
Well, they got the tents already.
That's right. Very good.
Done,
Solution number 2 from John Phillips. And Connor, I think you're going to be interested in this.
Okay.
Go back to James Wilson's broken windows theory of policing, which was so successful in the 90s. His revolutionary idea was to make sure cities don't tolerate small crimes or minor infractions like having broken windows. Let's recriminalize petty theft, simple assault, drinking in public, and loitering to create an atmosphere of order and lawfulness. This will prevent more serious crimes from ever happening. You on board with that one? Also?
The broken windows theory is pretty widely panned / discredited.
According to John Phillips in the Daily News,
recriminalizing petty offenses is literally the textbook definition of creating the school to poverty to prison pipeline, where we're effectively rounding up the poor and disorderly and putting them in prison so that we don't have to look at them. It's not the moral or effective solution.
Didn't say that was moral, but we're looking for effective here, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we could
take morality. We need something effective, because I have to tell you, and maybe I'm getting a little more conservative in my old age, but but I see now homeless here in that we do the show in the San Fernando Valley. I see homeless not far from where I live, and to me, when it affects you, it's like the old, if it affects somebody else, I don't care, but if it affects you, it's a problem
for sure.
Yeah, I'm starting to see, I think, more of them, and that's a problem,
and that's what John Phillips is giving. At least he's giving some solutions.
And the other thing,
sink your teeth into them.
Bill Bratton, the former LA police chief, and went back and forth to New York, I think adopted broken windows in Los Angeles when he was LA chief, wasn't he? And at least he said it was pretty effective.
The idea of specifically targeting certain areas or neighborhoods, or even more specific than that, for police protection or patrolling is not an inherently bad one. And Los Angeles has done several pilot programs with some highly sophisticated technology to try to predict what crimes are going to happen, and they've been effective. The real problem is when you then pour a whole bunch more law enforcement in an area, you are like militarizing and politicizing that area to the degree that people end up getting fined and going to prison for crimes that elsewhere in our country they would never be punished for. So you have unfair application of the law on poor people.
I'm willing to give it a shot. John Phillips solution number 3, guys. Let's get rid of the numerous drug and alcohol rehab facilities known as the Rehab Riviera, or at least crack down on them. He says that the number of licensed treatment center in Costa Mesa alone has doubled in recent years, and during that time frame, their property crime increased by 41%, driven by 62% rise in burglaries and nearly twofold jump in auto thefts. News reports are peppered from stories of young out-of-towners from places like Seattle or Arizona breaking into homes and stealing vehicles.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah,
so John's theory is all these sober living homes, guys are escaping and ripping folks off.
Yeah, that sounds really bad. It sounds like a real problem that it should be solved. It sounds like people are not in control of these halfway houses or sober living homes or whatever they're called, and these rehab facilities are not. They're falling down on the job, and they're probably I don't know, run by scam artists. It sounds like they're not doing their job. They're just collecting government money and letting these folks commit crimes all around them and ruin the neighborhood. It's terrible.
So in terms of John's suggestions, 1 out of 3 ain't
bad.
bad.
That one sounds good.
Well, there's a fourth solution. Here's John's fourth solution. I'd offer free tickets to any transients who moved here from other states to take advantage of California's good weather and generous social services. They're far more likely to overcome the demons of mental illness and substance abuse around the support system of friends, family, and home than living on the streets in the company of other addicts.
That's a pretty good explanation for why don't we just ship them somewhere else and have them be someone else's problem.
Back to Omaha, where their friends and family and support. Well, let's face it. You
know what? Let's just ship them to Mexico.
In Hollywood is not exactly a healthy environment.
However, don't you know Hollywood is paved with gold? You've heard that
true,
story.
Absolutely. But I mean, the very idea of just push them physically somewhere else so they're someone else's problem, I think is, I'm not going to say despicable, but doesn't answer the problem, doesn't solve the problem at all. We are all Americans. We all have to solve this problem together. We can't just say, well, you're Arizona's problem now, loser. Get out because you're dirty. That's horrible.
Fifth and final solution by John Phillips.
Don't say final solution about this, please.
Repeal the Lanterman-Petrus Short Act of 1967, which in effect ended all involuntary hospital commitments by the judicial system. We desperately need places where those incapable or unwilling to care for themselves can be sent, whether they like it or not. So
I think that's a possibility.
That's scary.
And Trump is advocating that too, and but there might be some civil rights issues involved.
Yeah. I mean, there's somebody more qualified than I specifically to speak on the history of how these programs have been used and abused, or whether they were effective programs that were discontinued for some other reason.
You can only hold them for what, 72 hours?
Exactly. 72 hours if they're a danger to themselves or others. But after that, you really got to let them out.
Yeah, it's kind of a scary idea. We used to have, debtors' prisons. We used to have sanitariums where people would get sent, and people would talk their way into it by acting a little off, and then they'd be literally locked in. And they say no matter how sane and normal they acted after that, the doctors and nurses would say, "Well, you were crazy when you came in, so you're probably still crazy now."
You know what I like about the fact that John Phillips came up with 5 ideas is that at least it's something other than, let's just throw more money at it. Let's spend $20 million more to buy more beds, more of the same.
Something,
Because that's what the progressive solution is, and the far right-wing solution is, no, don't spend any money. At least he's coming up with some creative ideas.
That's true.
The other legal lightning round issue I wanted to toss up for you guys was the question of the Internet Media Database lawsuit that Ken Jeffries, you may have heard about it. I know you're a SAG-AFTRA member. Yeah. SAG-AFTRA was very unhappy about the fact that this IMDB Internet deal gives the ages of actors. And everybody knows how old Meryl Streep is and so on, or you can look it up elsewhere. But it's the working actors who were discriminated against, they claim, because they worked into their 40s and 50s, and the casting directors would go to the IMDb, he's 53, I won't hire him. So the actors went to the legislature and got them to pass a law saying the actors may get their age off of IMDb. Well, guess what? IMDb filed a federal court lawsuit in San Francisco, and they convinced the judge to say that's an unconstitutional infringement on the right of IMDb to express its free speech rights.
Yeah.
And so it's up to the Ninth Circuit.
So what does it stand right now?
What stands right now is this week, the trial judge ruled against the actors and in favor of IMDb. Now, the Ninth Circuit is the next stop, so they might reverse it. So what do you guys think? Do you think, it's commercial speech, which is entitled to less protection than political speech.
Yes.
But do you think the IMDB's commercial speech of we want everybody to come to our website and we want them to know that you can get everybody's age, does that overcome the age discrimination problem? Because it's a huge problem in Hollywood.
Yeah, but casting directors are looking for certain people of certain ages.
Right.
So that's the opposite side.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that people don't take age discrimination very seriously. I think that everyone's reaction to this was if Jewish actors were saying, I'm not out as to my Jewish faith, and because I get discriminated against, don't put a Star of David on my IMDb page because I'm going to lose work from that. Everybody would go, oh, yeah, that sounds like a really bad idea. I don't like that at all. But nobody takes age discrimination seriously. They just say, oh, well, whatever. Of course, actresses all have to be young and beautiful.
Well, it's up to the Ninth Circuit, but as for now, the actors have lost, and IMDb is the big winner. Hey, when we come back, a Moron of the Month candidate is the crankiest granny in Northern California. Stay with us.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show. CRN listeners, when you come to Southern California, stop by a great restaurant, the Dresden Restaurant at 1760 North Vermont Avenue in Hollywood. Enjoy great entertainment, like the music of the legendary Marty and Elaine at the world-famous Dresden Restaurant. The Dresden was a location for the making of the movie Swingers. Now you can swing with stars Marty and Elaine. Plus, enjoy great food, too, like French onion soup, artichoke hearts, and many other great appetizers. Seafood, there's salmon, shrimp scampi, New Zealand orange roughy, halibut, Lake Superior whitefish, and specialties like veal marsala, piccata, and parmigiana. Plus, we've got a great roast rack of lamb, chicken piccata, and cordon bleu, and pasta dishes, too. Steaks, filet, New York, Chateaubriand for two. Much more, too, including pork chops, prime rib of beef, and an incredibly extra large cut of prime rib. It's the Dresden Restaurant, open for lunch Monday through Saturday and dinner Monday through Sunday. Check us out at 1760 North Vermont Avenue or call 323-665-4294.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
Enjoy Tiki Live, the best cable alternative choice today, with hundreds of premium live TV programming, including ESPN, CNN, Fox News, Disney, AMC, Bravo, XF, OWN, and CRN Talk. Plus no contracts and low month-to-month service. Tiki Live, servicing North America, including the Caribbean. To get started, visit TikiLive.com to order hundreds of channels, including CRN Talk, at a fraction of what you're paying today. Visit TikiLive.com. That's TikiLive.com.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries, our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes, and we've covered a lot of ground, guys. Today
Yeah.
We've talked
a lot of stuff going on.
We've solved the problem of guns, and we've eulogized Billy Graham. We've gotten on board with the John Phillips approach to homeless,
100%.
more or less. And now it's time. Well, first, before we get to the Moron of the Month, you guys, I'm sure you want to guess who this is. A very famous guy. He's no longer with us, this singer. Anybody want to take a guess?
I'm going to say Whitesnake.
Yeah, you want to turn it up a little, Jose? Helps.
Might be Tom Petty.
Robert Palmer?
Robert Palmer. Oh, good to know.
When did he pass away?
I don't know. Oh, the internet would tell us. Addicted to Love is the name of the song.
Anyway. No, I didn't know he
So,
died.
well, see, I didn't know Billy Graham hadn't died. And
changed addresses, yeah.
Yeah. So our Moron of the Month candidate is a grandma up
Okay.
in Northern California.
They're usually so wise.
Usually they are not this one. She's 84, so she's got that going for her.
Yeah.
She has a date with a county judge next month because she fired a
dinner
gun.
date? Oh, no.
Fired a gun at her neighbor's children for being too noisy. Betty Frances Sanders approached the fence that divides her property from the neighbors in Anderson, California, wherever the hell that is, and started arguing over the neighbor's kids, 3 children, 8, 9, and 10. According to her, had been riding motorcycles. I'm not sure 8, 9, and 10-year-olds ride motorcycles,
No,
but
probably
grandmas don't lie generally.
Right.
She said they were being noisy, and the family on the other side of the fence approaches. They start to argue. During the argument, she shoots one round from her gun toward the children, who are about 20 feet away. Okay?
I don't care if they're riding jumbo jets around in your lawn. On
Yeah.
your lawn!
Yeah. This grandma should not be packing heat.
Probably
Maybe
not.
Miss Grundy should, but not Grandma Betty Frances Sanders. Notice how they give her 3 names, just like Lee Harvey Oswald.
Just like every mass murderer.
Because the innocent Betty Sanders
Assassin.
around the country shouldn't be tainted with
not.
Betty Frances Sanders'
is that
crime.
why they give them the middle name? So that people's...
Yeah, because all the innocent Lee Oswalds.
Yeah.
Well, my mother used to call me with 3 names, my first, middle, and last name, and I
when
knew
you're
I
in
was
trouble.
Yeah, when you're in trouble.
That's right. So anyway, this lady's in
Ken
trouble
Chutzpah
herself.
Jeffries.
You got it. My middle name.
Nice.
Chutzpah. Yeah,
One
that's
neighbor
W.
could hear the bullets going over her children's heads. No one was injured. Deputies found Sanders at her home after an interview. I hope they videotaped it. They arrested her, found the gun. She was booked on suspicion of assault and firearm and child endangerment. $50,000 bail posted.
This is how we raise money to fund all these public services. You film these interviews, they go viral on YouTube. Crazy grandma arrested for shooting at children. Millions of dollars for the police. We don't have to worry about funding anymore.
Now, in fairness to grandmas everywhere, it isn't just grandmas that get into trouble and not treat kids properly. Our second Moron of the Month candidate this week, a daycare owner who admits she ditched the kids at the daycare to hit the gym and the tanning salon. She is pleading guilty to ditching 7 children to go to the salon. She's facing a 35-year prison sentence. She drugged the children. She abandoned them at Little Giggles Daycare. In Bend, Oregon. She has several prior felonies.
Did she at least deputize one of the physically larger kids to sort of be the boss in her absence?
I don't think she had the
little
common
Sally,
sense.
You're a little bigger than the others,
She
so
didn't have the common sense to do that.
No?
All right, Jose, we've got a minute left. Let's go with the Hot Tub Time Machine. Hit us with the soundbite, please.
Time ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima and destroyed its usefulness to the enemy. That bomb has more power than 20,000 tons of TNT. The Japanese began the war from the air
so I think
at
you get
Pearl
the
Harbor.
gist of it. Anybody want to
They
guess
have
who's
been
speaking?
retained
I'm going to say
many
this
foes.
is Ike himself.
No.
A little before that.
A little before that.
Oh, okay.
Harry S. Truman.
S. Truman, and the S stood for nothing.
S.
So that was the announcement about the bomb being dropped on Hiroshima.
And
August
I
6,
only exist
1945.
because of that?
My father was in the army in New Guinea in World War II and would have been one of the people invading Japan, and they expected 1 million to die invading Japan. It didn't happen, and you're here.
Yes!
See you next week.
CRN Digital Talk Radio prides itself on being the station of every situation. And you can listen to us on nearly any platform and device. Download to your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry episodes of What's Cookin'. And take Master Sommelier Michael Jordan with you to the wine shop so he can help you pick out that perfect bottle of wine. Stream episodes of the Sonoma Wine Report through our CRN app, TuneIn Radio, Nobex, Stitcher, UTunes, or AHA Radio. And start planning that unforgettable weekend in the wine country. They're in your corner on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and many other apps. And of course, you can always listen live through your local cable TV provider, as well as on our website at crntalk.com. For more information on where to listen to these great shows, along with many others, log on to crntalk.com and create your own listening experience today.
The radio channels. The radio channels. CRN.
It's time now for the polka party. This is Dixie.